Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Ben,
And I'm Sharita.
and we are back with our top 10 games of all time for 2024. I know this has been a long time coming for us.
I thought it was 2023.
2024.
Oh, I guess I'm off by a year.
No, I started in, I think it was January.
Oh yeah, it's been a long time since we did our last video, but you can't rush perfection.
And we still have Andrew and Jamie's top 10 to put out. At the time of this recording, I've still got to edit that and get that out, as well as a couple of reviews that we got to do. But I think without further ado, let's get started. Should
All
we
right.
do my number 10 first or yours?
Yep.
All right, so then you'll have the penultimate number 1 at the end. All right.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so my number 10 is a not a new game to my list necessarily. It is, but it's a newer version of an older game, and it's my favorite version of Pandemic, and that is Pandemic Iberia. So Pandemic Iberia is a game that takes place in the Iberian Peninsula, in which you are going to be fighting diseases during that time period, and like malaria and such. And you have 4 diseases that you need to cure in each region, and you're trying to avoid outbreaks. It's a cooperative game. I like this version better than the original version. I don't think that the base Pandemic version would be in my top 50. But it's been in my top 50 before, but on the lower end. But I just like the railroad system in it, how you can move really quickly, like building up the railroads,
Oh yeah, that's right.
which is really cool.
Is that the one with the water tokens?
Yeah, water purification. You
Yeah.
can discard cards to have water purification, which can help get rid of cubes as they come out, infections. Slows the infection rate a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen it on your list yet. I wonder if it's coming on your list or not. Possibly. Because I don't believe we talked about this. But I know it was on Andrew's list too. It was base Pandemic. It was number 1, I think, on Andrew's
Really?
list.
But doesn't he have like all the expansions?
For the base Pandemic, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a base Pandemic guy.
I'll give you a little tidbit of my thoughts on it. I actually played this version of Pandemic before I even played the base game. And this one definitely... The base Pandemic game is fun, but once you play Iberia, it's a whole different story. Like, I wish I would have started with the base one so I could get a feel for it, because Iberia is way better in my opinion.
Yeah, and I'm glad this version is finally back in print again.
Oh, was it in print?
It was out of print for quite a bit.
Mm.
But now it's back in print, or at least it was when I got it. I'm not sure if it still is or not. I don't see it very often, but I hope it is. And that is my number 10, Pandemic Iberia.
Well, I'm next on The Price is Right. My number 10 is a game I've been playing since I could probably say my first few words. It's called Cribbage. I grew up in a small cafe called Williams Park Cafe with my family, and we'd have a break table, and we have all the regulars, and there were 4 players, and they'd all come and play cribbage. And I would sit on their laps, and I would learn, and they would be like 15-2, 15-4, and I eventually learned how to count. And this game is you play to 121 points. It's a peg system game. What you're doing is you're counting cards, and essentially you want to get 15s with your cards, 31s with your cards. You want to get runs, flushes. That's how you get points. And it is quite complicated when you first begin playing because of the whole counting system, and you can get really good, like very, very good. I would say I'm pretty mediocre. I've done a couple of cribbage tournaments with my dad. He's really, really good. I play with my aunt. It kind of seems like people my age and younger don't really play this game that much. But when I find out somebody when I find out somebody else plays this game, I'm like, what's see how we what's challenge each other. So yeah. Actually, I feel like this game should be higher up on my list now that I've had some time to think about it. But I don't ever see this one dropping any lower than 10.
Okay, so it'll stay in your top 10 next year?
Oh, for sure.
All right, and is this your highest standard deck of cards game that you have on this year? Because I know there's another one that you play quite a bit as well.
What one was that?
Spades?
Oh, yeah, definitely, yep.
Okay, definitely higher.
That doesn't have pegs.
Okay, and you played this one recently, didn't you?
Yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, the day before. See, I played on I have an app on my phone. I can't remember what it's called, but it's called Cribbage something. And you can play easy, standard, or pro. And I always play pro because I like a challenge. And it's something I'll do before I go to bed or something I'll do first thing in the morning. When I'm watching my true crime shows, definitely I got to multitask. I can't be just doing one thing at a time. So it's definitely something, like if you're using the restroom, it's a good fun game to pass the time,
Right on. Number 10. Yeah. My number 9 was my number 11 last year. It was number 5 the year before that, and number 7 the year before that.
Do you have that memorized, or are you looking at
I'm
that?
just looking at it.
Wait, does it say that right there?
Yes, it does.
It says, let me see.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It does.
I was like, you have a great memory of it.
And it's my favorite version of another game. It's basically the same as the base game, but it's just a different theme, and that is Carcassonne Winter Edition.
Oh yeah, we played that game together.
Yes. You have just the base Carcassonne,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically the exact same game, minus the winter version doesn't have the river expansion with it. But Carcassonne, so basically just bring a Carcassonne, but I like the winter theme of it. I think it looks pretty. It's got like elk and polar bears and little cute critters on it.
Do you like it because you're cold-hearted?
Uh,
And we have winter 9 months out of the year.
we do have winter a lot here in Wisconsin.
You're a little biased, aren't ya?
I guess so.
It is very pretty.
It is a very pretty version.
It is very, very aesthetically pleasing. So I'm just messing with them.
Yeah, and unfortunately that's a version of the game that's not available in America anymore. They print it in other parts of the country still, but they don't print it in America anymore.
Wait, that didn't make any sense. You said they print it in other parts of the country.
Parts of the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't trying
Thank
to
you
be...
for correcting me.
I wasn't trying to be... I wasn't trying to be rude. I just wanted to make sure I understood what you were
other
saying.
parts of the world, yes. So, like, you can get it in Europe, you can get it in Asia.
So how did you get it? Did you swim over there?
No, I actually got a U.S. copy that was used from... I think it was a Christmas gift or something one year.
And it was a used copy?
Yeah.
You got that bootleg, eh?
No, it was a used copy. I don't know if it was from eBay or Amazon or from BGG or what, but I think it was a Christmas gift from my parents.
Well, that was nice. So
yeah.
somebody else swam over to Europe and got it for you.
Sure.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, good luck getting it.
Yes. But it's a fun version, and if you can only get just the regular Carcassonne, then still pick it up. It's a fun game, and it's a classic.
Actually, when Amazon had their game stuff on special, Ben was like, you gotta get Carcassonne. It's like $18 right now. I know you haven't played it, but you gotta get it. Or maybe I did play it already. I don't know. It's a very fun game, and I definitely was really happy when he told me there was a discount, and I totally had to get it. Actually, that leads me to this question. Do you know when Amazon is having their next sale on board games?
I don't. I know they just had their summer sale. They have a Labor Day going on, but I looked at all the games and there was one game that we might get. But other than that, there's not a big sale. I'm guessing it's around Black Friday.
Okay, but I'm saying even though there's some games we might not get, are there any games that you would recommend for the viewers?
Yes.
That they have on sale? Or maybe by the
Probably
time the
not
video
right now.
Okay.
But we'll definitely talk about games that you should be getting in our future reviews. I know there's a few games that we've been playing lately that people should be checking out.
From Gen Con.
Yeah. That'll be coming out pretty soon here. Alright, that's my number 9, Carcassonne.
Alright. I don't know if this was on your list because it was, quite some months ago since we did our last video, and also Ben is very, very secretive about what he has in his Taylor Swift notebook. Oh, now you're gonna let me look at it. Okay.
What? What is it?
Space Base.
Space Base. Yes, that was. It was my number 40.
Oh.
That's actually I think that's our first 4-way crossover because Andrew and Jamie all had that on their list as well.
Well, I see why Jamie had it. I mean, Jamie smoked me. I had one victory point to what does it end at, 20 or 25?
40.
Anyway, she had at least a 20 point or 25 point lead on me. Totally smoked me. The game lasted maybe 15 minutes. I've never played it that fast, but Jamie is super good at games. Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me why it's on her top 50.
A couple weeks ago when we were playing Whale Riders with Glow, Jamie was over there playing Space Base. I don't know if you were paying attention to the score at all.
Did she smoke everyone?
It was 37-4 or something.
Yep, that sounds like...
By the time I first looked up from the table.
Well, with no disrespect, I really enjoyed Space Base. I mean, I love it. It's my number 9. I enjoyed it more the first time because I didn't get smoked. I literally got my butt handed to me when I played it last with Jamie. But it was still a fun game. I like the concept that you roll dice and... How do I explain it? I like that you can roll dice and get certain perks and stuff, and how you can change that. If you get a 9, you might get a victory point, or if you get a 9, you might gather some is it fuel or what is it? The green ones. What are the green ones? Income.
Yeah.
So that you can buy better cards for if you want to if you roll on the dice 7 or whatnot. So I really like that, and I had never played a space game like that before. If you haven't noticed, I'm quite new to the board gaming world besides Monopoly. So I definitely like that concept of it. And actually, I think I'm having another game that is just kind of like it. Yeah. All right, I'm done with that.
So for me, Space Base completely replaced Machikoro. I don't know if you ever played Machikoro.
I don't know. Did we?
I don't know if you played it. I know it's a game that I used to play, but then I started playing Space Base, and ever since I started playing Space Base, I've never felt the need to play Machikoro again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a cool concept. I would definitely like the idea where you have to get the credits, because every time you buy something, you don't get change back. You lose all of your credits when you buy something. And so you have to, you go down to your income level.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a cool
That kind of reminds me of Dinner in Paris.
Oh, yeah?
That part where the income.
Yep.
Used to be a fun game.
Dinner in Paris. Yeah, that didn't make your list this year because we didn't get to play it by that time.
Yeah, we definitely, but...
It'll probably be in your top 100 next year. Cool.
Definitely.
Cool. Awesome. Number 9, Space Base. My number 8 is a cooperative game. It was number 8 last year, actually, and that is Marvel United. So Marvel United is a game where I have a bunch of stuff for it. I don't have many of the little expansions, but I have one of the Kickstarter boxes. I have the X-Men base game, the regular Marvel United base game, a couple of the smaller expansions that were available to retail, and that's just a lot of content. Also, they're delivering the Marvel United Multiverse Kickstarter, which I did back, but from the sounds of what everyone else is talking about, a lot of people aren't actually getting their copy, so I'm not positive that I'm actually going to get that.
Why? Why?
Just because they have people, a lot of them are getting lost in the mail or being sent to the wrong people.
They're getting lost in the mail, eh?
Yeah, or they're just, yeah. So it's a big mess right now with Marvel United. I've never done a Kickstarter before, and I haven't gotten mine yet, so we'll see what happens with that. But I enjoy the game nonetheless.
So you already purchased it?
I did, but I purchased it a year and a half ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you know, does UPS ship it?
I think it's through a freight company because it's from
Oh.
overseas because it's directly from publisher.
Oh, because I was going to say if UPS delivered it, my nephew-in-law works for UPS and he would definitely make sure we got that.
Right.
But don't you have like 200 characters for Marvel United, or am I thinking of Unmatched? Or both?
No. Marvel United, I probably have about 60 characters or so for it, which is enough already. We're not here to talk about things that we don't like about the game. We're here to talk about things that we do like.
No, I think that's cool. I think that you have I was just making that reference, like, he really loves the game, and it's cool that he can, because each character has, like, a different, special ability, and so I think I definitely thought you had more than 60, but I think that's pretty cool.
I probably have more than that. I can't count that high.
Well, there's just so much variety to the game with those characters, and then how many, like, villains do you have?
I have a lot of villains too. Just from the one Kickstarter box, I have a lot. But
I like that. I think this might make my top 100 next year.
Yeah, and you have a copy of this as well.
Oh yeah, I do. I definitely do.
Never
opened it.
Yeah, we never.
But I've played it though.
Yeah, we played it, and we enjoy it. It's in our top 10.
Well, in your top 10.
It's my top 10, and it will be higher for you next year, I'm sure.
It'll definitely make the top 100.
All right, number 8, Marvel United.
Oh my gosh, I almost just went to number 7.
Okay.
Okay, number 8 is Bad Company, and it reminds me of Space, just like the whole, like, rolling the dice and getting certain perks depending on which numbers you roll. Except this theme is your gangsters, and so I never thought playing a gangster game I'd actually really like it, but this is, I don't know, it's fun. You have the cops that are trying to get you, and it's very competitive. You can play with a lot of people. I think the first time I played it was like with 5 or 6 people.
Yeah, I think it plays up to 6.
But I would say the concept is definitely like Space, except you can play with more people, and honestly, it didn't kill Space for me, but it definitely, I definitely like this Bad Company a lot more if there's more people playing.
Yeah, so it has this like gang heist theme,
Mm-hmm.
and you're running from the cops, but it's very tongue in cheek. It's not very serious.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cartoony in the way you're doing that, and you're upgrading your gang, and these characters are definitely like spoofs of other characters. There's like Dumbledore holding the Infinity Gauntlet, and there's like a Ziggy Stardust looking character, and yeah, it's a fun game. It was my number 19 this year, and it's one that I enjoy as well. It does play pretty quickly. It doesn't feel like with Space, it sometimes feels like you can run a little long. I don't ever feel that way with Bad Company.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's another thing too. And I think Ben, when he actually taught me this game and actually taught the group, I think he did a wonderful job explaining it, and I think that even added more joy to the game. I mean, no offense to the rule book, but he definitely made it like so a 5-year-old could understand it.
I mean, we had almost 5-year-olds playing with us, I think, at the time.
Yeah, but it doesn't say age 10 plus.
Yeah. It's very comical, the crime in this game. That's not serious.
Like you're not dealing with drugs or alcohol or anything like that, or actual crimes.
And if you get caught by the cops, it's not game ending for you.
Yeah, you're not gonna go to jail.
it's a really fun game. And
Definitely.
I think the only reason that I play Space Base now over Bad Company is on BGA. Because Bad Company's not on BGA, but Space Base is.
Actually, I've never played Space Base on BGA.
It's actually pretty good.
We should.
Yeah.
We should do that.
All right. That is number 8.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. My number 7 is a game that we actually played recently.
Oh, okay.
And that it was number 6 last year, number 4 this year, and 3 this year.
Wait, you said 6 this year, 4?
4 the previous and 3
Oh, yeah,
the year
you meant,
before
okay,
that.
you meant, okay, sorry.
Yes.
You meant, okay, so last year it was 6th.
Yeah.
2022 it was 4th.
Yeah.
And then 2021 it was 3rd.
Yeah.
So it only dropped.
Yes.
It still was in the past 4 years. It's
Yeah.
been in your top 10.
It's holding steady for sure. And that's a game that we played very recently.
At the library.
Yeah. And a BGA, and that is Viticulture. So, and we play the Essential Edition, and the one that has the mamas and the papas, which give you a nice start to it, and you have the fields to start out with, and that. But Viticulture is a worker placement game where you're running a winery, and you are going to be planting grapes, and you are going to be harvesting those grapes and crushing them and bottling them up to make wine and selling that wine to tourists or making wine orders and such. And you are just racing to get to victory points. And with this game, I think the only thing, there's a couple things that I would gripe about. Those cards, those guest cards can be pretty broken sometimes. If you get the right one, it can really
Make or break you.
really make or break you, especially if you draw one that really helps your strategy that you're going for. But I guess as long as they're all broken, it's okay. But yeah, so getting those guest cards, they can be pretty broken. And the other thing is it can run a little long for the kind of game it is. That's why I do have it a little lower in my top 10 versus let's see, I have a few other worker placements that I have a little higher up that I play that I think the turns are a little snappier. But it's still in my top 10. I really, really enjoy it. It's been on my top 10 every year that I've done my top 50. So, and
That's awesome.
Yeah.
To make a comment about viticulture, like it also, if you think about it, like what number you go as, like if you go first, second, or third, can really, really affect your strategy. Like because there's certain like areas you can't go if somebody else has placed there. And like say you need to go to a place where you can, buy a field or buy what is it called? Buy like a windmill or something like that. So like you have to have certain buildings to grow these grapes and plant them and make them into wine.
Yeah.
So you gotta determine like what time you want to wake up in the morning, because that can affect when your turn. How do I say it?
I don't know. How your turn goes?
Yeah, how you're like who goes first?
Oh yeah, the wake up.
Yeah, the wake up.
And we have not played Tuscany, the Tuscany expansion. I have the Tuscany expansion, but we've never played it. Some people will say that it's actually essential to play with the Tuscany expansion. Like there's some people, especially not this hobby, will say I wouldn't play viticulture without the Tuscany expansion.
How come we haven't played it with the Tuscany expansion?
I just haven't played it.
Have you ever played it before?
I haven't played the Tuscany expansion.
Ever?
No.
Not in these 4 years?
No,
Do you have the expansion?
I do have the expansion inside the box. And it actually has a second board, a new board to play as.
I want to do that.
Because it gives you a third season to play with at the summer. Instead of drawing cards, you have another season that you play as.
I want to play that.
Okay.
Now I feel like now I'm feeling like it's like when I first played Pandemic Iberia versus the base game.
Yeah.
Now I feel like it's gonna be one of those things where I'm gonna love it, and it's gonna make the base game seem not as fun.
There's also Viticulture World, which is a cooperative viticulture.
Okay.
Which they take viticulture and make it cooperative.
Are you gonna pick that up?
maybe at some point. I want to see what you think of Tuscany first.
I want to see what you think of Tuscany. Didn't even know you had that expansion.
Yep.
Learn something new every day.
We do have that expansion, but it's never been played. That's viticulture, number 7.
All right, number 7 for me is Pandemic Iberia, which was Ben's number 10.
Number 10.
I'm going into the medical field, and I love research, and so playing a game that actually was trying to eradicate some of these diseases that I learned about, I thought was really cool. I also like the aspect of it's a co-op game. One of my favorite co-op games. And like Ben was saying about like you're researching, you're trying to eradicate these diseases. I will say it is difficult compared to the base game. But I think that adds more enjoyment. And he talked about how there's like railroads and stuff like that, which can get you to places faster. And then we talked about like the water purification tokens, which can, prevent, the disease from turning into an epidemic. But yeah, definitely a fun game. I don't think it'll fall off my top 50. It might not make my top 10 next year, but we'll see.
Cooperative games like this can also be group dependent. Depend on
Yes.
Because there are sometimes like some people can be really tough to play cooperative games with.
Oh yeah, my wife. Yeah, I totally, because I blocked that out because did we play another time which was really fun, and then we played with her, and she was just getting kind of cranky, and she wasn't really being a team player. No offense, I love you, but I don't want to play a co-op game with her again.
Then there's also Andrew, who knows the game so well that he thinks he knows the optimal move for every turn, and so he'll coach you through every one. He doesn't do it consciously, but he does it, and he'll admit that he does it.
I thought you were going to say he mansplains it.
Oh, sure. Well, you said
I'm
it,
sorry.
not me.
I'm sorry, Andrew. I'm not coming for you, I promise.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's far away now. All right, number 6. My number 6 was number 4 last year.
Wait, it says it was your number 6. Oh, okay, my bad.
Number 6 was number 4 last year, number 3 the year before that, and 4 the year before that. So it's been steady. It's the first time it's not my top 5, and I think I know why that is.
Why?
Because we have the new version of it, which is just so hard to get to the table.
Is it because it's gigantic?
Yes. And my number 6 is Everdell. So Everdell is a forest critter worker placement game which you are gathering resources to build up your own forest city of buildings and critters and trying to get the most victory points as possible. But you start out the game with just a few workers and a handful of cards and no resources, and you're given this limit of 15 cards for your city. And at the beginning of the game you're like, oh, I have no resources, I have only a couple workers, I only a few cards in my hand, there's no way I'm actually going to have 15 cards in my city. And then by the end of it you're like, 15? That's not very many cards. I need more space in my city.
Yep.
But it's a really good game. We do have the really nice version of it with all the upgraded components and the wooden tree and all the expansions. And I think because of that, it's just so hard to get to the table because I can't bring that big giant thing to the shop too often. And also just setting it up and finding all the things we need from in that box and can be tricky. But we gotta get it played at some point.
No, I'd like to. Definitely. That was my number 11.
Number 11, so just missed your top 10. But yeah, it's a good game. Everdell. I'm hoping that it stays in my top 10 next year, but we'll see how that works out.
Okay, my number 6 is Encyclopedia. I'm trying to remember why it's my top 10, but I will say I think I liked the game a lot because it was very challenging on my brain. But I'm going to refer to Ben to kind of explain how the game is played.
Okay, Encyclopedia is a dice worker placement game which you are going to be building up an encyclopedia. You are going to be researching animals, different things about these animals, what type of animal it is, where it lives, like what continent, what kind of food it eats, such and such. Each thing is going to be worth a certain number of victory points, and you are going to be researching one animal, and you're going to be researching all characteristics with that animal on other cards that you have, and you're just trying to get the most amount of points. You're going to be going on voyages to learn about these different types of animals, and you're going to be eventually researching them. And you got lots of like expedition tokens that will be used to change the values of the dice to make them better, because the higher the value of the die, the better, but you can increase it past the threshold of 6 to make it a better die.
I think you explained that beautifully. And I think the reason why I like this game also is because it has that scientific background, which it's kind of like in my DNA. So I think that's one reason that just really got me so interested in, like, you know, learning about different animals from certain continents. So I remember now why it's in my top 10.
Yeah. And what do you think of the art style of the game? The old-timey scientific? Or...
I like it. It brings me back to the 1800s. Just kidding.
Yeah. It's a fun game. It was my number 14 this year. It's one that we've played a few times, and we've always felt like we've gotten a full game experience every time we're done with it.
I mean, the first time we played, it was like just me and him, and what was like at least 2 hours.
Yeah.
But we're a lot faster now because we know what we're doing.
Yeah. But I think next time we play, we might be a little slower because we'll be relearning how to play it and stuff. But that's all right. We got to get that played before the end of the year.
We have only 3 months.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, it's September 2nd. Wow.
Encyclopedia? All right. My number 5? Top 5. My number 5 was number 15 last year.
Wow.
And I think it's my highest, it's my highest Bowser game. And I like the art in it a lot, and that is Abyss. So Abyss is an underwater sort of set collection game, which you are collecting different types of allies in order to turn them in to recruit lords. And on your turn, you get to do one of 3 things. You get to explore the depths, you get to seek help from the council, or you can recruit a lord by turning in allies from your hand. The cool thing about this game is when you explore, you have to offer the cards that you explore first to your opponents before you can take them for yourself.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And there's pearls, which are currency in this game, and I am amazed that none of the pearls have gotten lost for all the times that people like have thrown them around. And
knock on wood. How do you know? Have you counted them every time?
I've counted them a couple times.
Count them again.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a fun game. And the cards that you want, you first have to offer them to your opponents first, and they have a chance to purchase them from you before you take them. And then any cards that aren't taken by anyone are going to go to the council to be taken for a future turn. But they're also face down, so you there's some sort of card counting, kind of memorizing in your head what has come through, what has not, which is really a cool concept. It's one that I didn't think I'd be very good at it, but I've been pretty successful at this game.
Yeah, you're really good at it. Smoked me for sure.
Did that make your list this year?
It was 24.
24?
I think it'll go up though.
Huh. The art in this game is beautiful.
It is. Because I've contemplated buying this game numerous times.
Yeah.
But Ben has a copy, so I know I can always use his.
And I think it's a game you have to play it for.
Yeah, definitely. Can you play with 5? No, 2 to 4 it says.
2 to 4, but you can get the expansion, which plays a 5th player.
Okay.
But, yeah. That's Abyss.
Alright, my number 5 is Lost Ruins of Arnak. And we actually just got the Legacy. Would you say it's an expansion, or
Yeah.
because you have to use the base game too?
Yeah.
We haven't played that yet, but I'm excited to. I like Lost Ruins of Arnak. I thought it was quite challenging the first couple times I played it, but I really like the aspect of like gathering resources like gems. What were the other resources we gathered?
Compasses.
Coins.
Yeah.
And I really like that it kind of has like a Egyptian theme to it, and you're trying to climb up. Was it a pyramid or like research
track?
Yeah. So in one part of the game, there's like a research track, and that's where you try to move up to get these like different like what are those tablet things called? Because at the very top, you can get like the 20.1.
Oh, yeah, victory point tokens?
Yeah, the victory point tokens, but it's kind of like you're going up. It almost reminds me of like a pyramid, and like that's always my strategy. I mean, you can also gather resources and try to fight off monsters to get stuff, but I like to go up the research track. It's been my best strategy of the game. But there's multiple ways you can play it, and that's what I really like about the game, is that you can do something different every time. It's not like you have to play the same exact way every single time to get the best result. So that's one reason why I like it, and I'm excited to play the Legacy one.
Yes. I am excited about the Legacy version too, the campaign, and checking out the leaders from that. It's a game that just keeps going up for me every year. It was 36 last year and 15 this year, and I think it's gonna be close to top 5, I think, next year.
Oh, wow.
If we get through the campaign.
Definitely.
But yeah, and I think it'll stay in your top 5 with the campaign.
We'll see.
Alright, my number 4 was my number 5 last year. It was number 10, and it was 8 the year before that. So it's been in my top 10 every year. I think all of these last 4 have been in my top 10 every year. My number 4 is Raiders of the North Sea. So Raiders of the North Sea is a Viking-themed worker placement game by Garfield Games, which you are playing a worker and taking a worker back. You're going to do effects, and you are building up a ship crew and collecting resources in order to send that crew off and raid different outposts and get reward from it, plunder, and then coming back to town with that plunder to sell to get more victory points. And also you have the Valkyrie. Whenever you collect the Valkyrie, that means that one of your crew has died on the quest, and you can actually get victory points by killing off as many of your crew as you can in the most glorious of fashions, which that's been a really successful strategy for me. Is just killing off as many of my crew as I can.
Yeah, I didn't do that strategy when I played with you.
But it's a fun game. It's not my highest Garfield game, but it is a really fun one that I really enjoy.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed enough for the both of us.
You don't like it?
Was it on my... I like it. It was 39 of mine.
Okay.
I don't think it'll go any higher than that.
You don't think so?
Yeah,
No?
I don't think so.
Okay. That's alright.
Sorry.
That's alright.
So I'm on 4 now?
Yeah.
So my number 4 is Riverside. And this is a game that you originally couldn't get in the US, right?
Right.
But, good old Ben swam over there and got it from Europe. Just kidding. I like that it's would you say it's a roll and write type of game?
Yeah.
I like that there's a lot of math to it. Like, what you're doing is you're traveling on a cruise. Like, was it in Norway or something?
I don't remember where it's at. It's like Alaskan cruise kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's one of those like Arctic cruises.
And like you start at like you stop at like certain locations, and somebody will roll the dice, and you can choose, you know, a die for. There's different colors of the dice. There's like yellow, blue, pink, and then there's a green one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so depending on, so what you do is you roll the dice, and like the top highest ones. How do you? Oh shoot!
They'll have to go into the heat area.
Yeah, you have to go in. So you can have up to 14 uses of heat, and that helps you get like different numbers for different categories. And so you have different on the cruise. You have each color has a different amount of tickets, and tickets get you victory points. And so you want to be able to do the best math and get the most points. And I don't know, I just really like that theme. And it depends on who you're playing with, because the game could be 20 minutes long, it could be, you know, an hour long, depending on how many locations you're able to move based off of what you roll on the green die. Right, is it green die?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, you love this game.
I do.
And you've been getting more and more into roll and writes lately.
Yep.
And so I think we're going to see more roll and writes on your list in future years.
Yep.
And yeah, is this your highest roll and write this year?
Yes.
Okay. Because I know that you've played a couple of them since then, new ones that you've been really
My City.
enjoying. My City, and then also
Grand Austria Hotel Rolling Right.
and you also, that's pretty clever.
Oh yeah, I love that. And then Long Shot.
Long Shot has been, yeah, so you've been playing a lot of roll and writes lately. And yeah, I knew you liked this game. I didn't think it was top 5 for you.
Well, it is.
Wow, that's good. Okay. Alright, my number 3 is my highest Garfield game. It was number 7 last year, number 9 the year before that, and 6 the year before that. And that is Architects of the West Kingdom. So Architects of the West Kingdom is another worker placement game which takes place in the West Kingdom area, and you are playing as you have workers, and you are going to be collecting resources to build different things, because you are the architect. You're going to be building up a cathedral, or you're going to have other cards in your hand that you want to build up, and you're going to be hiring different tradesmen to do so. And it's got this cool mechanic in which you can also steal your opponent's workers from the board and sell them to the jail for coins.
Oh yeah, I like that aspect of the game. I forgot about that part.
It's a fun worker placement game. So that and Raiders of the North Sea have been neck and neck for forever for which one's my favorite. I always go back and forth, but my recent plays of Architects of the West Kingdom has, I think, put it slightly above Raiders of the North Sea for me.
Boy, I wish I could apply that in real life, selling people to the jail.
Selling people to the jail.
Even if, well, actually just giving people to the jail, even if I didn't get any compensation for it. But there's a few people I have in mind. Not Ben.
There's an occupation for that.
There is. Yeah, but that's dangerous.
Right.
All right.
That didn't make your list, I don't think.
Yeah, it did 36.
It did? Okay, cool.
I like it better than Raiders of the North Sea.
But you own Raiders of the North Sea and not Architects. Okay. Right on.
Yep.
Okay. Top 3 now.
Oh, excuse me. My top 3, or my number 3 on my list is Parks. I don't see it going any further. I like the expansions too. I like the aspect of the art on the cards. What you're trying to do is you're trying to visit different parks like Yosemite. And the art on the cards is so beautiful, and I love that the cards that you're supposed to visit, that they have fun facts on there. So I thought that was really cool. And some of the national parks that are shown in the game I've actually been to. But the concept of the game is you want to gather certain resources, like you can gather like trees, gather like certain animals. There also be like an animal that is a wild, so you can use it as any resource to visit these parks, and you visit these parks for victory points, and whoever has the most victory points at the end of the game wins. There's also like certain perks if you like. There's like a kind of like a board that you get to mix up. So like one location will be like water that you'll go through, or one location will be like land, and so it changes every time you play the game, which I think is cool. So there's some variety, and that can help you get extra resources if you're the first person to visit that location. Like I said, I just really enjoy the artwork, and I really love the concept that it tells you fun facts. So and I can definitely relate this to like real life, so definitely I don't think it'll drop from my top 5.
All right. Yeah, you've really enjoyed this game, and we played the expansions for that, and we enjoyed those. It's add some variety to the game and add a little bit of complexity, but not too much. I don't know if playing with both expansions at the same time is the way to go necessarily, but maybe throw in one expansion when we play.
Did it make your list at all?
It did not make my top 50
That's
this
really
year.
sad.
I think we've been playing it more recently, but it's also on BGA, so we can always play that whenever we want to.
I thought it got taken off.
Yeah, that's right. They did take that off BGA. That's, yeah, I don't know what happened with that.
That's tragic.
Yeah, but, yeah.
Can we do this one together?
Number 2?
Yeah.
Do we have the same number 2?
Yep.
We do. All right.
Yes.
Go ahead. Number 2.
No, we'll say it together.
All right.
Our number 2 is Wingspan.
Wingspan, yes. Looked at my list.
Yeah, because you're actually like not hiding it, from me.
Oh, yeah. So Wingspan. Tell us about Wingspan.
It's about birds
Birds
and eggs.
and eggs.
And I like that you get to learn about all these different birds. If you have the expansions, you can learn about birds, from Europe, birds from America, birds from Oceania.
Yeah.
There's also Wingspan, like the Asian edition, so you learn about like Asian birds. But I kind of like parks. I like that these cards will have like fun facts on them about these birds. Also, I like the art based on it, but I like that there's a cool bird called a bush tit, and so I found that to be very hysterical. But yeah, the game's pretty fun. I actually have the app on my phone. You can buy it for like $10, and you can play online with other people, but that takes way too long. So I just play against the computer, and you can like do like easy, normal, hard. So depending on how much of a challenge you want to, and I think it's really fun and something, you could, instead of reading a bedtime story, you can play Wingspan.
Awesome. Yeah. It's a fun game. It was my number 1 the last 3 years, but I finally put it at number 2. I was back and forth between numbers 1 and 2, but I decided that number 2 is a good spot for it this year. I don't know where it'll be next year, if it will be back at number 1 or if it'll keep going down, but it's a fun game. And also we have Wormspan now, which I can't decide which one I like better of the two of those.
I gotta play Wormspan again.
Yeah. But yeah, Wingspan.
And Wormspan isn't based off of worms.
No.
Just want to clarify that.
It is not. It is a dragons.
And Ben got it before the release date because he's got the connections.
Sure.
All right.
Yes, it wasn't that ahead of time. It was probably like a couple weeks.
I thought it was like a month, but same
it was
thing.
Probably something like that. We played it a bunch during that month, or 2 weeks or whatever.
Yep.
Anyway, my number 1 was my number 2 last year, and that is a dice worker placement game called Grand Austria Hotel. So in Grand Austria Hotel, you are going to be running a cafe in Austria that doubles as a hotel. So after you feed your guests in the cafe for that what they need, whether that be coffee or wine or strudel pastry, you'll need to have a room prepared for them to stay the night. And there's going to be different objectives that you need to accomplish. Also need to appease the emperor by paying like your taxes, whatever, and in different ways appeasing the emperor. And so you're managing your resources, managing your staff, managing your money, managing your food and drink, managing your guests, managing your rooms. There's a lot of things going on in this game, but I just found the puzzle of it to be so satisfying. The whole, if I only had $1 more, if I only had one more room, if I only had one more strudel or one more coffee, and just seeing what you can do with that. And it's just kind of an efficiency puzzle in itself. And it's also first come, first serve with the dice, which is cool. And you're very limited in the number of actions because you're only going to get 14 actions for during the whole game. And so, what you do with those actions to maximize the amount of victory points you get, and to avoid losing victory points from the emperor.
Mm-hmm. I like that game too. I think it was on my list, but it was 29.
Okay.
Okay, I had a question for you. So, do they have, like, can you upgrade your pieces so that the actual strudel looks like strudel and the coffee actually looks like coffee?
Yes.
Instead of just little cubes?
Yes.
Okay, I think I want to do that if I get the game. That was one thing that bothered me. I'm like, this doesn't look like coffee. This doesn't look like cake. This doesn't look like, was one of them wine?
Yes.
See, maybe I would remember the pieces if I knew, if they looked like what they were.
I think the problem with that is on the cards themselves, it's showing as cubes, so that might be a little confusing for me, but I totally hear what you're saying.
They should change that too.
Alright, that is
Fun
my
game.
number 1, Grand Austria Hotel.
I think that'll move up for me.
I'm surprised it was so low for you.
I think it's because at the time I'd only played it once and I kind of didn't know what I was doing and I kind of thought it was extra complicated, but, you know, playing it again and then playing the roll and writing, I'm like, oh, it's actually not that hard. Like, I finally grasped the concept and can play it with using less brain cells.
There you go.
So yeah, my number 1 is Splendor. And I know Ben's going to say, what's that game that you said is a Splendor killer?
Century?
Century. I disagree. I think that, I love Splendor, but I think that Century makes me love Splendor even more. I don't know, I love it.
That's okay.
It is, I've played it over 500 times on BGA. I only have like a rating on there of like 100. I've had a max of like 220. There's people with like 400. So like I'm getting better, but I still get smoked sometimes. And I just love the aspect of gathering gems. Or if you have the version from, is that from Korea?
Yes.
You have the version from Korea, which is the Pokemon version. You'll be collecting Pokeballs to gather Pokemon and have them evolve. So yes, there are many types of Splendor. There's the Marvel Splendor, there's the Pokemon Splendor in the base game, and definitely I like the Pokemon version better. It adds complexity to it. You're gathering cards, get victory points. I don't know, it's a game that you literally can just like I said, like for some of the other games, you can lay in bed and play it before you go to bed. It's depending on how many players you have, you can play it in online. You can play it in like 12 to 30 minutes, depending on, like I said, how many players are. And there's that challenge of, if you win this game, your ranking's gonna go higher. If you lose this game, you're gonna, if you lose to somebody who has like, ranking of 50 and you have a ranking of 200, you're gonna lose way more points on your ranking. But I really enjoyed the game a lot, and I think it was definitely a present. Well, it was a present from Ben to get me the Pokemon version, which you had to pay an arm and a leg to get from Korea, because didn't you have to get it through a private person because the manufacturer or distributor doesn't directly send it to the U.S.?
Yeah, you have to get it through another store. You have to order it from a game store in Korea and have it shipped and customs and all that. Yeah.
And also so he also got this game for himself too, and his friend, and they have like a special, like, was it like hologram card?
Yeah.
Special hologram card, and all three of us had different ones.
Yep.
So I think that might be worth something in maybe a century. Speaking of century, like I said, it's way better than century.
All right. I was worried you were gonna get yourself burned out on this game. Playing
Nope.
it so much, but
Nope.
no, you still enjoy it, and it still could be number one next year, or at least in the top 3.
Yeah, but you have to in the game you have to. I haven't played it that much lately because I've been very, very busy. But you have to like pay attention how your other opponents are playing, so that you can like say if they need, to get the gem you need 5 green gems to get the green card. You might want to like snag that from them or reserve that card so they can't get those points. And I like that aspect. You can play really dirty, but you definitely want to give your full attention when playing the games. Because I noticed when you start playing these higher level 300 ranking, 400, they are really paying attention to how the others are playing. So yeah, I really like that aspect. It gets challenging and more challenging, and your ranking can go like here to there to there. I like that. So yeah, that wraps up our top 50.
Yes, and stay tuned for future videos where we are going to continue to review games. We're going to continue to do top 10 lists. We're going to continue to make content, so stay tuned for that. Thank you everyone for watching, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Oh, wait. And hopefully you won't have to wait 6 months or 7 months for our next video.
Oh no.
Maybe like 7 days.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe 14 days.
We'll see. Yeah.
Thank you all so much. You have a great day, night, morning, evening, whatever time it is when you watch this. Thank you. Love you lots.